Welcome back, Coffee and Cream in the Morning on Hail Varsity Radio, powered by Currency. DV, Andrew Rogers, live from the H&H AAA stage at Hail Varsity Club. Happy to be joined by Diane Mendenhall, now live in studio, president of Nebraska Pro Volleyball. Excited for this one, DV, at DS Mendenhall on Twitter, but also at NE Pro VB, because that is what we'll be talking about today. Good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
Good morning, Damon.
Long time no see. Good to see you again.
So good to see you as well.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay.
Well, I'm blessed to be here.
So explain something for our listeners out there, because I was just getting the rundown from Jen, which she's great, by the way.
Yes,
The
rock
whole-
star.
the whole
She
team.
could be up here.
But more
Guaranteed.
enthusiasm.
But I'm like, okay, so the layout of this is Nebraska Pro Volleyball, like the overseer, and then they have just one team, or is there somebody else that oversees it all, and then the 6 teams fall beneath it? Can you explain, like, just kind of the logistics behind all of that?
Great question. So the setup is we have the Pro Volleyball Federation. So that's the league office, located central office in Columbus, Ohio. And the original 2 founders are Dave Wyndham and Stephen Evans that founded the league. And then you have franchises. And what's unique about this professional team and the approach that Dave and Stephen took is that of the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, where you have local owners. So each city is invested. They live there, they breathe it, they know the people there, and that's what leads to success.
So with Nebraska Pro Volleyball's co-founder, with Chris, you guys have to have a really good relationship. He said when it comes to finding a leader, he was looking for somebody that's passionate about volleyball, that has those leadership qualities. How about just your familiarity and your love of the state, right?
Mhm.
Like you can hear it when you talk. You're about as proud as the league as you are that it's a Nebraska thing too, because you're Nebraska through and through.
Thank you. I bleed it. And growing up in Ogallala, out in Western Nebraska, God's country.
I
Forgive
keep
me,
hearing
Nebraska,
that.
God's country. And we won our first state championship, and you all weren't born then,
Yeah.
but in Scotts Bluff. So the first state volleyball championships were in Scotts Bluff.
Wow.
And so it shows you how the sport has grown.
Mhm.
And it's just the communities across the state, and my work with the university too, with the chancellor and the Husker Nation tours. I've been in these communities. I've been in the high schools and met the people, spoke at the Rotaries and things of that nature. And there are not more passionate people in this state about absolutely everything. They want to win at what they do. They come together, they unite, and they'll be all about this team.
Was as being such an ambassador as you were for the university, you're probably not surprised by passion, but I think some people are with the reverence that there is for volleyball in this state. We go back and forth. We've joked for years. It's self-sustaining almost at the high school level. We just had a national champion at the 13U level that was from Omaha. Nebraska as a volleyball state doesn't have to take a backseat to many, especially per capita.
Definitely. It's the epicenter of the entire world. I'm not saying nation, of the entire world. You will not find any more knowledgeable fans. And we're talking from elementary school all the way up to the seniors. I actually did a 101 on volleyball at a senior center because they needed to understand overlapping and substitution and the whole rules around the libero.
Awesome.
It was a blast.
I wish I would have gotten that in.
Hey, how do you say that word again?
That would have been fun.
Libero. I've heard it pronounced multiple times on television.
So in the past, what were the options then for those that wanted to go pro? Was it only Europe? And if that was the case, how does something like this eliminate the homesick aspect for a lot of players that grow up here in Nebraska?
That's a great point as far as the homesickness. Jen Spicer, who's the CEO of the league and a very well-known volleyball player herself growing up, she said that she actually called almost 500 women that had played or were playing overseas, and she literally had dozens that started crying on the phone that the opportunity to play in the United States would be here, would be for them. Because you're right, Europe is where they had to go. They had to go to Turkey, Russia, Germany, Finland, and that's where they played. And sometimes you're going into, you're not sure of your living conditions, your owner, your coach probably doesn't speak English. And so you can imagine, Damon,
Yeah.
can you
Oh,
imagine
yeah.
if your football coach didn't speak English?
And
It
when I
can
was
be-
allocated to the World League, it's like, this is miserable.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can function.
Right, right. So here they get to play in the States. They get to play in front of their family, their friends, and the fans that love them.
How cool is it that you get like Coach Buttermore at Omaha, Coach Booth, who she's arguably, no disrespect, because you may top her, one of our favorite interviews on this show always, and Coach Cook with, the reverence that the coaches are so supportive and so successful. Is there any sort of recruiting connection to a state that's already pretty good at volleyball?
I think it's definitely a culture. It's a culture that if you go all the way back to Terry Pettit and Dr. Hibner at the
Oh,
university
yeah.
that
Oh,
worked with your
Doug.
father,
Yeah.
if you go back to the culture that was established and how we as Nebraskans treat people, how this just becomes home, you see that it just bleeds through the coaching ranks. And that's the expectation, that's the culture. And they've also understood that this is what breeds success. So that culture is also contagious, and it's contagious with the athletes, the student athletes, all the way through the team.
Obviously, DB pointed out your passion for this, and it just shines through. But how moving is it knowing that little girls in the state can dream of going to high school and playing in Nebraska, going to college and playing at the best school, one of the best schools in all of collegiate volleyball, and then playing pro in Nebraska?
Andrew, you almost give me bumps when I think about that too, because I was one of those little girls that couldn't dream of that. I'll date myself. I'm a product of Title IX. And when I was a little girl, there wasn't even high school volleyball. And I was just on that first wave of high school kids that got to play for 4 years and the opportunity to get a college scholarship. And now that there's the opportunity to play professionally in their own state is huge.
So it's community driven, as even though it's a statewide deal. Roger Dixon. There's just so many key players. You've got a great venue. You're gonna get a tremendous following. How soon can we get a name? I'm dying to know a name. You don't have to break it on our show, but man,
but I'd be okay with that too.
Thank you.
Selfish.
For the right amount of money. Everything's for sale.
Everything for a price.
There we go.
No,
it's just been cool to watch unfold. We get to see it step by step. The name's got to be next, right?
Thank you. It is next, and next Thursday, 10:30.
Okay.
Be ready for it. So we expect to see.
Can we change that to 9:30?
9:30.
You want to change the venue for the release too? You can do 10:30. Okay, we'll have to get out. We'll have to get out of here.
That's great.
10:30 next Thursday.
Yes.
Is it what? Any hints? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Is it an animal? Is it 20 questions?
It will be very cool.
It's got to be Nebraska based, right?
Mm-hmm. Has to be.
Look,
this shoulder struggling.
Knowing good well, she looks like she swallowed a canary over there. She's like, I don't know. Oh, is that right?
Just so you know, Damon, to make you feel better, my husband doesn't know.
Okay. All right. I don't. Your lips are sealed.
Doesn't make me feel better. I'm just kidding. So where can people get tickets then? Are they on sale?
Right now, you can join the waiting list. And next Thursday, the 20th, you will be able to go online and put down a deposit. So you can go to anyprovb.com. Right now, join the wait list. And then make sure next Thursday you put that deposit down, because that puts you in the queue. And having worked with Nebraska volleyball, this is something that you need to get in early.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess you're 1,000% correct. We love events and we love volleyball. So when you combine the two, and it's new, this is pretty cool.
And when you think of it too, it's the opposite season of the high school and the college volleyball seasons, and it'll be fun for Nebraskans.
There's only one other passionate fan base for an Olympic sport that can even in the same neighborhood compete, and that's wrestling. Volleyball is pretty much untouchable. Mm-hmm. The fan base is the fan base, and it doesn't matter. I'm
Rain or
excited.
shine.
I'm excited for you guys.
One of my
Thank
favorite
you.
sports to cover. Diane, thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for taking
Andrew.
some time this morning. Good luck, and we're excited for you guys.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you,
Appreciate,
Damon.
appreciate
Great
it. Good to see you again.
That's Diane Mendenhall, president of Nebraska Pro Volleyball. When we come back, we'll take a short break. We'll talk to Matt Verzal, former Husker and Pison's Pizzeria owner. I bet the interviews will be night and day different.
Matt.
Because Matt is a little aggressive.
Yes, he is.
We'll do that next.